Water erosion are of several types. First one is splash erosion. It is the first stage of water erosion. It is due to the raindrop impact, scattering of detached soil particles. So breakdown of soil structure is more prominent in splash erosion. Here dispersed soil particles can rise up to 60 cm height and move up to 1.5 meter from their initial place. Then next phase is sheet erosion, where uniform removal of the thin soil surface layer happens. Here the topsoil is most susceptible to sheet erosion. It is most dangerous soil erosion for agriculture because it is unnoticed and invisible. Sheet erosion, we cannot identify sheet erosion, right? That is why it is most dangerous. This type of erosion is more serious on black and red soil. Third phase is real erosion. Here small channels of less than 30 centimeter deep are formed. If we do not control sheet erosion or splash erosion, then real erosion happen. It is in the form of small channels which is less than 30 centimeter deep. It can easily be removed by normal tillage practice. It is an intermediate stage between sheet erosion and gully erosion. Then gully erosion. It is the advanced stage of reel erosion. If reels are prominated and they are not being controlled, then gully forms. And this is the most advanced stage and this is the most destructive phase of soil erosion. Reels more than 30 centimeter deep is known as gullies. Gullies cause spectacular soil erosion. It cannot be removed by normal tillage implements. Then ravine erosion. It is some networks of gullies. It is due to bad land topography. Severe ravines or advanced stage of ravines can be found. Then landslide or slip erosion. To quantify water erosion, there is a equation, that is universal soil loss equation, which was given by Westmeyer and Smith in 1978. What is that equation? That is A is equal to RKLSCP. What is A? A is soil loss. The unit is ton per hectare per year. R means rainfall erosivity factor. K means soil erodibility factor. L means slope length factor. S means slope gradient factor or percentage steepness. C means crop management factor. P means erosion control factor. So let's see one by one all these factors. So rainfall erosivity factor, it is the capacity of rainfall to cause erosion. It is the potential of rainfall to cause that erosion. It is also called rainfall erosion index. What is the maximum erosion? It can in the 30 minutes of maximum greatest intensity of rainfall. In the 30 minutes of greatest intensity of rainfall, how much it can erode. That is the rainfall erosion index. Soil erodibility factor, that is K. It is the ability or susceptibility of the soil of being eroded. How the soil is susceptible, how much the soil is susceptible towards erosion. That is soil erodibility factor. It gives an indication of soil loss from a unit plot of 22-meter long and 9% slope and continuous fallow culture. Value of K varies from 0 to 0.6. The soil erodibility increases with increase in K value. That means soil erodibility value from 0 to 0.6. The soil erodibility value is inversely proportional to the infiltration capacity. If the soil has more infiltration capacity, then the soil erodibility is less. Like for example, K value of low infiltrating soil is more than 0.3, but K value of sandy soil, like where the infiltration is higher, there the K value is lowest. Then crop management factor, it is the ratio of soil loss under field condition to which would occur under clean tillage continuous fallow condition. Okay. Crop management factor will be higher about 1 with little soil cover. Bare soil, bare soil, and it will be low, less than 0.1 for soil retaining large amount of crop residue on the surface. Then wind erosion. Here the major eroding agent is wind and the carrying agent is also wind. The wind velocity at which the movement of most erodible soil particle initiated, that is known as minimum fluid threshold velocity. What is minimum fluid threshold velocity? That is the wind velocity at which movement of most erodible soil particles initiated. It is lowest for 0.1 to 0.15 mm particles. Minimum fluid velocity is 3 km per hour initiates the process of wind erosion. The wind velocity at which movement of all sized particle initiated, that is known as maximum fluid threshold velocity. Most erodible soil particle, that is of size 0.1 mm. Minimum wind velocity necessary for initiating movement of most erodible soil particle, that is 0.1 mm, is 16 km per hour at the height of 30.5 centimeter. There are different types of wind erosion. What are they? They are surface creep, saltation, and suspension. What is surface creep? Here, the wind erosion causes the soil to roll and sliding along the ground surface. That is called surface creep. Here, the creeping movement of soil happens. Here, the diameter of the soil, 0.5 to 2 millimeter diameter of soil, they are prone to erosion. And it can consist of 5 to 25% of total wind erosion. Then saltation. It is the initial or first stage of particle movement in bounce and bumpy pockets. Here erosion of particles of 0.1 to 0.5 mm diameter happens, and this contribute maximum, that is around 50 to 70% of total movement by wind. Then suspension. Here the particle size of less than 0.1 mm, that means the smallest particle size, they are eroded. Movement of fine dust particle by floating in the air, that is known as suspension. It contributes about 15% of total wind erosion. Deposition of suspension occurs when sedimentation force exceeds force holding the particles in suspension. What are the factors affecting wind erosion? Like coarse texture soil are most susceptible to wind erosion because there you cannot find the water molecule which binds different particles. Wind erosion will be higher from a smooth soil surface. Optimum roughness for wind erosion is around 5 to 12.5 cm. Wind erosion occurs only when the soil is dry and slightly moist. Like we have already covered that there is a equation for calculating water erosion. Like that, wind erosion has another equation to calculate soil loss by wind erosion, that is E is equal to IRK FCWDB. Here E is the soil loss, I is the soil cloudiness factor, R is the surface cover factor, K is surface roughness factor, so F is soil textural factor, C is local wind factor, W is field width factor, D is the wind direction factor, B is the wind barrier factor. Then another kind of erosion is, that is the combination of water and wind erosion, that is known as wave erosion. It is also known as stream bank erosion or seashore erosion. It is the combination of wind and water erosion. Soil transporting agent and their nomenclature, right? Soil transporting agent and their nomenclature. If the soil is transported by river water, then that is known as alluvial soil, what we call. Then if it is transported by lake water, then that is known as lacustrine. If that is transported through sea water, then that is called marine. If the soil is transported through wind or sand is transported through wind, then that is called aeolian. If the clay is transported through wind, that is known as loess. If the soil is transported through gravity, that is known as colluvium. If the soil is transported through ice, it is called moraine.